Can everybody hear me okay? All right. Good morning. I'm Jerry Gray, your senior warden, and welcome to our, I'm going to speculate, probably the 57th annual meeting for St. Bart's. We were started in 1968. I'm glad you're all here, and with that being said, our junior warden, Joe Snodgrass, will lead us in the opening prayer.
Let us pray. Almighty God, give us a new vision of you, of your love, of your grace and power, and then give us a new vision of what you would have us do as your church in this congregation at this time. Give us an awareness that in the strength of your Spirit, we can do it to your glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Okay. Where's our Ann Snyder? Okay, you're up, Ann. And Ann is the clerk of the church.
Clerk of the vestry.
Okay.
All right. So, in accordance with St. Bart's bylaws, these are the amended, restated bylaws of 2022, Article 3, Section 8, quorum. 10% of the average Sunday attendance averaged over the last 6 months prior to this meeting shall constitute a quorum. If our ASA is about 200, 10% is 20. Therefore, I declare a quorum is present.
All right, thank you. And now we have the privilege and honor of Rector Nina Backus to give her rector's report. The rector's at this.
Again. It's my honor to stand up here again at this annual meeting, but this time it's the second time as your rector. This last year brings us so much to reflect upon. We had our losses, the departure of a beloved staff member, the closure of the preschool, and the passing of Todd, Margaret, Mark, Harriet, Zoe, Guy, Jarvis, Rick, Martha, Mim, Fran, Gail, Gilbert, Blair, and Diane. But unlike my first annual meeting, when I was still getting to know you, I now do and mourn these losses with you, as does everyone in this faith family. Amidst this grief, though, I also see how God continues to bring new life to our congregation in the most awesomest of ways. So in my rector's note on Thursday, I teased that, like people, churches also have vital signs that measure health. And so what are our vital signs, or signs of vitality? It's another way of thinking of it. Signs of our energy and our strength. Some are measurable, and some you just know that they're there because you feel them. Overall, the trends at our church are good and upward. So to begin with some measurements, I want you to know that our attendance at worship services is up 10% compared to last year. Yay. This means that people crossed our threshold 15,460 times last year to worship at St. Bart's. And when I say last year, I mean 2023. The number of baptisms have almost doubled compared to the year before, and we have a surge of newcomers, typically 2 to 3 households every Sunday. At Christmas, even with the rain, we welcomed 493 worshipers, which I think we should just round up and call it 500. Our Acolyte Corps has expanded with younger children, and they're doing a great job. And our youth crew has an influx of 5 sixth grade boys. So talk about signs of energy. We need to give extra kudos to our youth and acolyte leaders. Our increase in attendance may be attributed to how the good news of our church is now being more effectively communicated to the community, either through our new website that was launched last year, more print ads, and by all of you inviting people. We never know how word will spread. A newcomer to the Blue Christmas service told me that she heard about the service at water aerobics. And I don't think it was from a parishioner of St. Bart's. So there's chatter out there. And even though the concert attendance numbers are not included in our worship attendance, the concert offerings from our world-class music program is bringing more and more new people to our campus. So through worship, music, outreach, and more, our profile is being raised up in the community. And this summer, we will once again have a camp offering for young people, not a vacation Bible school, but an offering close to the hearts of teens and preteens in our community. And that is a musical theater camp led by John Luke, Jacob, and Anna. So last year, we did not meet our stewardship goal, so we adjusted and we made the year work. But higher attendance leads to higher membership, and this is reflected in higher stewardship pledges this year. We had set a goal that would meet our needs, and unlike last year, we not only achieved it, we exceeded it a bit. So I congratulate you all for surpassing your church's goal. To me, this conveys that you believe in St. Bart's and you want the church's mission to continue. And this is possible because of the commitment of our long-term parishioners, along with the high percentage of support from our newcomers. Now, last January, I stood here and I said that we couldn't move forward with the campus building plan until we have financial stability with what we already have. And if all the pledges are fulfilled, then we are very near to where we need to be. And then this year, we can start to have serious conversations about what we can do next with our campus. And also bearing on this is some good news about our preschool spaces that will positively impact our budget and also fill some of the holes that are in our hearts. You'll hear the details today from our senior warden, Jerry. But speaking of the future leads me to the fact that we now have a plan. Through the careful meetings of the Strategic Vision Committee, whose work included you, we have a guide for the next 3 to 5 years. Undoubtedly, other parts of that vision will manifest over time, but we have a starting place for God's next chapters here at our church. Greg will explain more about this, but remember always that God's dreams always outmatch our own. So this document is just a start. And all these things that I've mentioned so far are measured and documented, but what I feel is most important at St. Bart's is the unmeasurable, and that's our relationships. And I feel that this is strongly reflected in the fact that 2 relative newcomers have stepped up to serve on vestry. And I hope you read all the candidates' bios, but what struck me so strongly was the love that they all felt from our church and how they were warmly welcomed and quickly developed a sense of belonging, and how important it is to all of our candidates that they want to be a part of continuing this legacy at our church. And that fills me with optimism. I was reminded of that same optimism when I recently looked back on some of the annual reports of churches where I've served, and I found something from 2016 from the Falls Church Episcopal. My colleague and friend, the Reverend Michael Hinson, who's now passed away, wrote this about something unmeasurable that church was experiencing after a traumatic split with the Anglican Church of North America. He wrote in that annual report, Coffee hour is a time in which I might hear someone say to another person, "Have you ever considered serving the church in this way?" At that point, a particular ministry or program is mentioned. And what I often hear next from the person who is asked the question is something like, "I never really considered that, but maybe I should." Such moments remind us that members of our community have a way of seeing our potential better than we can see it, and these conversations help plant seeds for future ministry and faith maturation. By God's design, we are made for community, and it is in and through community that we more fully understand our place in this world and our unique way of serving God. So I propose that our theme for this coming year is connection, that I ask you to join a fellowship group, and you will see these signs all over the church. You just point your phone's camera at it and the link will pop up, and join a ministry as well. Attend our gala. You'll see the invite coming out today. And also help with our rummage sale. These two fundraisers are what completely fund our outreach budget. So you are needed there. If you are not sure which ministry to join, ask another parishioner what they think you should do. As Michael said, other people see things in us that we don't see in ourselves. And who knows, you may be called to leadership of the goals and actions outlined in the vision plan, or driving some food to a distribution point. All are needed. All these offerings of your time and talent will give you a vital sense of connection and belonging that extends beyond worship and this table. On February 16th, we will have a ministry fair between the two services and after this service, or the 10 o'clock service, where you can speak directly to the current leaders. And some of our outreach partners are also going to be there. So measurable and unmeasurable, the signs of vitality are strong at St. Bart's. It's an honor and a privilege to witness and to join what God is doing here. I feel this way, and I'm sure that you do as well. The coming year will have its losses and its joys, but what matters most is that we are together for each other as one faith family, rooted in our common call to be disciples of Christ, revealing his light, love, and life to each other and the world. So may our signs of vitality remain strong as God continues to move through us to write the next chapters for our church. So thank you all. I applaud you. So now I invite Greg forward to present the strategic plan.
Actually, it's going to be Greg Moran and Judy Maceman. We're the co-chairs of the Strategic Plan Committee. Thank you. More outside voice. What's the feedback? Okay. Co-chairs of the Strategic Planning Committee. Before we get started, the first thing I want to do is remind you about who was on this team that spent about 4.5 months, the end of last year.
It's my fault, not yours. Just a second.
Okay. Okay. As I call your name, please stand up. I'm here. Greg Moran, our co-chair. Brooke Grandinetti, Patty Fuqua, Cindy McClellan, Pat Johnson, Donna Watson, Helena Chan, Kara Miller, Matt Boyne, Kit Curtis, and joining us, of course, was our senior warden, Jerry Gray, and Reverend Nina. Thank you all. Could I have the first slide, please? What? What? Okay, they were really good slides. I mean, it was graphics and artwork and everything. Oh my gosh. Well, okay.
Judy, would you like to postpone your presentation towards the end of the meeting?
Could we,
And that would
do
give
you
us
mind?
time to-
I think it'll help, rather than us just saying the words. I think it'll help to have it projected. Yeah, okay. And do you have your computer? Can you send it? Okay. Okay, this was just a warm-up. We're going to come back in a little bit after the meeting will go on. We'll come back. Okay.
Okay. Before I bring up Anne, I want to explain the role of the vestry, because the next part of the meeting is about the vestry. The vestry is like the board of directors of a company. The term of a member of the vestry is 3 years. They can serve 2 consecutive terms. So the people who are leaving the vestry have termed out either for the first term or they've served 2 terms. Okay. And I want you to understand the role of the vestry. The vestry follows some secular responsibilities as defined by the state of California on the rules of corporation, which is fiduciary, and also following the canons of the diocese. There are definite procedures in there and protocols that have to be followed, and the bylaws of the church, which are a subset of the canons. The umbrella over all of this is the role of the vestry is to help those who serve the church. With that being said, Anne, who's the clerk of the vestry? The clerk of the vestry is like the secretary of a corporation. Anne is a corporate officer, and she will now present voting. There you go. Have at it.
All righty. Getting back to those canons of the Diocese of San Diego, qualified electors, any person the age of 16 or more who is an attendant at worship and a regular contributor of record, and who for the previous 60 days shall have been registered in the congregation as a baptized person or communicant member. Also, I want to mention that in the canons, it determines our number of lay delegates. That is once a year in November at the annual convention. And last year we had 3 delegates as part of our allowance, and this year we have 4. So that means, again, that word, annual Sunday attendance, depends on how we're represented at the diocese. So our numbers have gone up, and we're at an ASA of 199, and therefore that means we can have 4 delegates and 4 alternates. And as you will see from your ballots, there are 4 people running for 4 seats. Vote for 4 people. We have a student who is a youth representative, and they are appointed for 1 year. Please vote for them also. And then we'll have 4 delegates. There are 4 people running for those seats, so vote for 4. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, the ushers will distribute the ballots, and then the ushers will pick up the ballots afterwards. Now, while this is going on, you'll have the pleasure of hearing about a 3-minute presentation from each of the candidates. I don't want to break out the bishop's crook to pull off stage. So the first candidate for vestry coming up will be Rosalind Duddy. Roz, where are you? All right, come on down. All right.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rosalind Duddy. I have been a member of St. Bart's Episcopal Church since 1968. And of course, I don't look that old, right? No, seriously. St. Bartholomew's has been my church family for many, many years. I'm honored and privileged to serve on the vestry. I had the opportunity back when Father Thayer was here to serve on the vestry, and trust me, it was a real education. So I look forward to serving again for you all. I'm the proud mother of 3 daughters, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and I raised them as a single parent, and very honored to say that I became a registered nurse during that time as well. So I love people, love caring for them, and I love my parish family. And it truly is my desire to support Mother Nina and all of you. I do want to close with this message, if I have the time. No, seriously. You may remember when Mother Nina came to our parish, she wanted to meet parishioners in small groups to kind of, get a feel for where we were going, what our thoughts were, and so forth. Anyway, I had the honor to pick up Mother Nina here in Rancho Bernardo, and our dear, dear friend, Diane Norris, offered her home. Her original home had burned, but she was in a rental and offered us to meet there. So I want you to kind of imagine this. I went, picked up Mother Nina. I had already moved back my car seat. Hello? Really? Okay, but no, seriously, I'm condensing this for the sake of time. I went around and I opened the car door. Mother Nina got into my car. Her mere presence filled my heart like you wouldn't believe. Of course, I wasn't telling her how I was feeling, but I mean, honest to Pete. I mean, I had to, in my mind, in my breathing, I had to, okay. Well, anyway, we went to Diane's house and we met with other parishioners there, and those that were there have now come back to church, which is a thumbs up. But my love for St. Bart's, my love for Mother Nina, I am the one honored, truly honored. So thank you for having faith in me, and thank you for loving the Lord and loving St. Bartholomew's Episcopal Church, Poway, California.
Thank you, Roz. All right, next up, Lance Cleveland, come on down.
Hello there, I'm Lance Cleveland, and we don't have the same history. Can't stand up to Rosalind, but my wife Lori and I have been here just over 6 years, and we were really attracted to St. Bart's for a number of reasons. First, I would say the sensitive and the thoughtful liturgical worship, which we just really, really enjoy. The awesome music. The program here is phenomenal. And not only that, it just touched us spiritually. When we first came here, my wife Lori was just recovering from a brain tumor and a stroke. And we would sit in the congregation and just, the warmth of the congregation, but the music, we would sit there with tears in our eyes. So that's another important one. The opportunities for service is another thing that I just really love and admire about St. Bart's. Not only here within the church, so many opportunities to serve, but out in the community. And I've been happy to go down with JD and others from St. Bart's to go down to Tijuana to build houses. And there's so many other opportunities that we provide to the community for service. And finally, the thing that I would add here is the warm and welcoming people that ever since the first day and every day, every person reaches out and is welcoming to everyone, no exceptions. So I'd be truly honored to have your vote to serve for you on the vestry. I want to bring all of my experience and certainly my heart, which is to help all of us to follow Jesus' commands, to love one another and love the world, and live with our hearts toward God in everything that we do and say. So thank you.
Thank you, Lance. Sally Abbott Lyons, come on up.
So I'm losing my voice, but it's not from Children's Chapel. They were great today. So a lot of people probably are like, isn't that Alice's mom? I think that's what we probably should have put on the vestry candidates. But I've been here for just a little over a year, and just to follow up on what Lance said, we immediately felt welcome. And initially I thought it was going to be a much harder transition. We'd moved down, we didn't know anyone, but it's been amazing. So I just wanted to read, I wrote a little, this is my candidate one, and so I wanted to read it so I don't ramble. So I'm excited about the opportunity to serve on the vestry because I deeply appreciate the outreach our church does, especially in making families feel welcome and connected. One of the things I found most meaningful is being involved in our Children's Chapel. It's a wonderful way to engage with the young members and their families, creating a space they can explore and grow in their faith. And I feel that every time I get to spend time with the kids. So if elected, my goal is to support and expand those efforts that foster that belonging, that community. I want to ensure that anyone who steps into our church feels included, whether newcomers or longtime members. So strengthening those programs is something I'm very passionate about, and I'd be honored to contribute to that work as part of the vestry. So thank you.
Thank you, Sally. I don't know why it's A through before L or L before A. Anyway, so our next candidate is Patrick Borkowski. Come on up, Patrick.
Good morning. The pleasure of going last. I actually end up repeating a lot of what you've already heard, but it is truly from our heart that I would say the welcome that we have received since we have started coming here has just been unmatched, and we have really felt it as a family. So where that's coming from, my family, which a lot of people, we don't really go anywhere without being noticed. My wife and I and our 5 children, all 12 and under. We were attending St. Luke's Episcopal Church down in North Park, had a good role. Our 4 youngest children were actually baptized there, but it was a pretty long commute, and we were looking for something a little bit closer. And we're in Scripps Ranch, and kind of driven by here a few times. We're like, all right, let's check out St. Bart's. And from the second we arrived, that first day, the welcoming, hey, here's a seat, can we get you this? Kind of walking everybody around, and then just meeting people afterwards. Instantly, we just felt drawn to this community. All of our children felt so comfortable, which is incredibly telling of the community, the kind of culture, the love that is here. Sense that, you know, all of our children are involved somehow, from godly play to the youth crew to the children's choir. And we're just finding ourselves drawn so much to it that when, you know, Jerry and Mother Nina actually asked them, they're like, hey, have you thought about vestry? And as you already mentioned, I was kind of like, no, I hadn't. But then looking back at it, one of the things, and I'm excited to hear the good news about the preschool, but one of the things that stuck with me was, I think, our second time here, that we heard the heartbreaking news about the preschool and that it wasn't going to be able to sustain. And I was like, man, what can be done? I was like, is there a role that we can play to help? And that had actually always stuck in the back of my head. So it wasn't much of a discussion. Admittedly, my wife and I at first thought, we're like, oh, we'll share it. It'll be partnership. And then we're like, no, one of you. So I decided, I was like, you know, I've really kind of felt this draw, feel very comfortable here, and I appreciate anything that I can do to help serve this church and community. So thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. The other names on the ballot, we're not asking them or requesting them to give a speech. I think you know most of them.
Jerry,
I hope.
I think Alexander would like to.
Oh, Alexander, really? All right. Alexander. Okay, he's our candidate for the youth representative on the vestry. Come on up, Alexander. All right.
Hi, my name is Alexander. I have been going to this church my whole life. I have been acolyting here since 3rd grade and been part of the youth crew and Sunday school, and I'm honored to be considered for this position, and I'm looking forward to serving and representing the youth. Thank you.
Well, with that being said, thank you, Alexander. The diocesan convention delegates, you see their names up there. If anyone of them wants to talk about it, I'm open to it. You have an open mic? Okay? No? Okay. But it's really nice to see people running for this. Brooke Grandinetti. You want to stand up, Brooke? All right. Molly Allen. Is Molly here? Hi, Molly. All right. All right. Jerry Blanton? Oh, he's in, where, okay. There he is. All right. There, in the back. There you go. And Dan Crane. All right. All right. I've served on the vestry with Brooke and Molly and Dan. It's wonderful that even though they've transitioned off, they're stepping up to represent St. Bart's at the Diocese Convention. Thank you all. Okay. All right, next up, John Luke, ready for the video presentation of our 2024 highlights. quite a year, good year. All right, next up is Mr. William Angus. Bill Angus is this is his last official duty as being treasurer. Come on, Bill.
Yeah, you've seen me for long enough. This is the end. Never more. I keep coming back like a bad penny. But first slide. Yeah, he got my slides, Judy. I don't know what your problem was. Well, see, I didn't have them finished, so I had to have John Luke finish them off for me. In any event, Mother Nina mentioned that we're on an upward trend, and I think the numbers that you're looking at right there sort of show that. Okay, that's a little better. I project pretty good, so I may not even need this, but that's fine. Now, for the first time in my memory, we actually hit a stewardship goal this year. And I checked with Bob Capitini, who was a treasurer before I was. There for a while, we were alternating back and forth. But he can't remember them ever doing that before either. So this is really a first in recent history for St. Bart's. And you're all to be congratulated, just like Mother Nina said. I mean, we set a goal of $900,000. And as of the latest we got in, I'm sorry, Judy, another pledge came in. I don't know we aren't going to stop them. Yeah, if you haven't, the more the merrier. But we're now up to $905,000. So it's just super. Now, the other thing I want to point out on these financials here, and Jerry's going to talk about this right after I sit down, is the preschool space has been leased out. And that is significant because that's why I put on here some facility use fees. They're going from this $38,000 this past year to $96,000 for 2025. And the other major thing I want to point out is that coming into 2024, we thought, well, the music program, they're going to try some things, and the Friends of Music, and gee, this might be successful. Well, it was really successful. I mean, we brought in $34,800. So we're expecting at least $35,000 this coming year. I think John Luke's going to surpass that without any problem whatsoever. And everybody involved in the music program deserves a big applaud. Okay, next slide. So we're in total, I can't even read. Oh, there we go. It's better. Yeah, total income is on the rise. These slides pretty much speak for themselves. So now, however, I want to just say one thing here. The loss of this year of $14,000. Last year at this time, we were projecting a loss of $53,000. So now, a good portion of that is due to the fact that we didn't hire all the staff that we had hoped to. That question's been solved, and going forward. So right now, we're projecting a loss of $47,000 for this year, 2025. But I'm willing to bet anybody any amount of money it will not be that high. Since I've been at St. Bart's, even though we have dire projections sometimes, we always seem to beat it at the bottom line at the end of the day. And that's all, again, thanks to the congregation. Next slide. And so this is the easy part. This is how the budget for this coming year is divided up. And I think these will be available in hard copy if you really want one. There's a lot more detailed projection on financials that are available in the annual report there that you have. And then next final slide just shows the percentage of the breakdown there as to where the money is actually being spent. So thank you. And lastly, I want to thank Annalisa Parker for succeeding me as treasurer. And I also want to thank Terry McCune, who has been a big support for me all along. And like old soldiers, we don't die, we just sort of fade away. So I'm still available for questions. Okay.
Bill, we have this gift for you as a small gesture of our gratitude, which
Thank you.
is beyond description, honestly. Thank you for all you've done.
Bill, there's whatever the gift is, it's not enough. You can't buy respect, and you have everybody's love and respect. Thank you. Now, we'll have a little break in the schedule here in the agenda. Judy Maceman and Greg, you want to come up and do your thing?
See, we do have slides, right? So I thought we'd just start off. We throw around the term strategic visioning and strategic plan. And I thought we better, get all on the same page with what that is. The strategic plan is a vision of the future. And we need it. We can have a vision and think about what we'd like St. Bart's to be in 5 years, 10 years, or 50 years. But this is really a roadmap for what is the vision, why is the vision, how, when, and who. So it really gives us, and you can see the little yellow brick, it's not yellow, but the road ahead for the next 5 years. So that's what we're going to be presenting to you today. Next slide, please. So I introduced the committee before, and this really, we really intentionally invited a really diverse committee so we could represent all, male, female, old, young, new to St. Bart's, been here forever, different opinions, different views. And what we worked on was updating the strategic plan from 2019. And what we found from the survey and from all the listening sessions that we did, talking among ourselves and then going out and talking to all our friends at St. Bart's and coming back together every week for those several months, is the three priorities really coalesced around grow the church, resource management, and community connections, and deepening those connections. So the plan that you're going to see and that we're going to be talking about includes goals and objectives and actions. And what these are key success factors. And these are really important, and so we want to spend some time on each one of these. Today we'll share all of the goals and objectives, but we're only, for time's sake, we're only going to give an example of one action under each area. And the other reason for doing that is, as you'll see in our next steps, and we start our rollout and we form work teams and people who are really interested in each of these areas start doing the work, we know that you're going to come up with more actions that are going to be even better and additive to the ones we've already called out. So that's going to happen. As we go through this, you may see an asterisk next to some of the actions. And what that shows you is things that are already underway, because we did this work over the course of 6 months. By the time we got it all written up, well, things were already happening, right? But we wanted to keep those in. Next slide. So now I'm going to turn things over to Greg, and he's going to start by talking about the growth of the church.
Thanks, Judy. Yeah, the first area here was grow the church, and I just say real briefly, there's a reason why we framed it that way. A lot of churches, all churches talk about church growth, and normally when they do, they talk about church growth on Sundays, getting more people into the sanctuary and more people on the parish rolls. But what we heard in the listening sessions and what we gleaned from the survey was people interested in growth kind of across a spectrum of activities, right? You can have growth in ways other than more people at church on Sundays. You can have financial growth, spiritual growth, fellowship growth within the community here, growth in our connections to our neighborhoods around us. So as we go through this, just kind of keep that in mind. That's sort of the frame, is that it isn't just increasing the membership. That's great. We want to do that. But there are other things as well, right? So the goal is to expand awareness of the church at work in the world and invite and welcome a more diverse church membership here to St. Bart's. How do we do that? Well, the first objective is we want to develop new outreach programs that increase awareness, raise the profile of St. Bart's in Poway, RB, Escondido, and around. And allow people to come here and connect with us more directly. So how do we do that? Well, one way that the committee came up with is to organize and schedule a St. Bart's Day of Service. Right, so this would be, it depends on how it rolls out, but for instance, we could have it on a Sunday, maybe in lieu of or part of a shortened worship service, where we have partnered or connected with an organization nearby to go out and on that day perform a community service, a food drive, a clothing drive, picking up trash in a park, other kinds of things that these organizations do that we can be a part of. We all wear our shirts and say we're from St. Bart's. No reason to hide your light under a bushel, and let people know that we're here. Next slide, please. Second objective, we want to enhance and grow the programs we have here on campus and add new ones in fellowship, our social connection programs that we have here and have developed over the past couple of years, and the events that we have, the music events and others here on campus for ourselves, but again, also into the community to get more people aware of what's going on here and the good work that's going on here. And as part of this, an action that we thought was important to do was to schedule these events at a variety of times that can accommodate a spectrum of people. Not everybody has busy lives and different demands on their lives. And I know in my case, oftentimes there's a lot of things that go on at the church that I just can't plug into because, still working and things like that. And we wanted to sort of emphasize that to achieve this objective and to grow our community here, we need to really kind of be operating not around the clock, but on a longer kind of time schedule during the days. Next slide, please. Right. This is an objective here would be to enhance the spiritual growth and the opportunities for ourselves and people around us in the communities who are with us but are not members here. An action there is there are many actions actually that the committee came up with under this objective, but one of them is to develop and create a labyrinth, a permanent labyrinth somewhere on campus on the chapel patio or the cross. And then schedule and promote kind of labyrinth ministry almost in a way. Many churches are doing this now. Once a month, the first Friday or the third Wednesday, there is a labyrinth walk at the church. You can come, reflect, meditate, pray, and be with others. This is a way to draw people onto our campus. It's a way for people who are here to deepen their own spirituality and their own connection. And that's something we could do. Next slide, please. Right, and now this is the increased membership. This is the key one. We want to increase membership and the active participation in St. Bart's. Emphasis on active participation. One of the things I think about this plan that the committee tried to do, and you'll see when you see it, there are a number of actions, is to develop a program that is broad enough so that just about everybody can find somewhere or something that they can plug into. You know, a lot of organizations, there's a core of people who do a lot of the work. We need to expand that. You know, we need more people. Not everybody has to do everything all at once. You can do one or two things once in a while. And if we get that going, we can really deepen and broaden our work here. One way of doing that is to create a small group of people who can identify and find the parishioners, all of our friends and former worshipers who, for one reason or another, haven't been here for a while, either because of COVID or post-COVID or some of the other things that are now in the past here, and reconnect with those people, get them here, and then plug them into what is now a really robust welcome and connect protocol that we have here that, you know, if you come here on campus and you haven't been here before, somebody's going to talk to you. You know, it's a really good program, and we want to kind of enhance that and grow that and get people here. So I think now, next slide, yes. Judy will now talk about the resource management piece of this.
All right, under resource management, and this really, under this umbrella comes not only our campus and facilities, but our staff, all of us as volunteers as well. So the goal is to effectively use the campus buildings, facilities, systems, staff, and volunteers to support, grow, and advance St. Bart's mission and vision. So objective one is to optimize and manage utilization of our campus and human resources. The action is develop and present to vestry and then to St. Bart's Parish a plan that includes options for optimal use of the campus and building space, as well as a cost analysis. Include parish priorities for a commercial or larger kitchen and a large meeting space or parish hall, and recommendations for the capital campaign building project next steps. Next slide. The next objective is to achieve financial sustainability to support St. Bart's ministry, mission, and growth plan over the next 5 years. And as you just heard, we've achieved that for 2025, and we need to keep that momentum going. So the action is to create a business plan that includes all planned sources of income and expenses, full staffing for growth, building utilization and expansion, and new revenue sources. We've gotten a great start with our music program, Friends of Music, and all of the different options that are provided. And so that's a first win that we want to build on. And hopefully that will identify additional sources of additional income as well. Next slide. The objective is to track parishioners over time from newcomer status to longtime member and identify ways for people to connect. So the first action, and we're going to start this off today, is to update the church database to include pictures. Now, I know many of us who've been here for a long time have been in a directory that have pictures, but I have to tell you, as someone who tries to go in the directory and look up somebody that I haven't met yet as a newcomer, nobody has a picture. And so it's really frustrating because I don't know who you are. So we're going to start that updating now, and it'll continue for the next several weeks. Now, Greg's going to talk about deepening community connections.
All right, this is the fun goal, I thought, the fun kind of focus area. And I'll just say to start, this really came from, again, the listening sessions and the surveys and a lot of conversations among the committee and that we had with people during this process, that there's a very strong desire that we get out more, that we connect and interact more with our immediate neighbors. And what struck me about it, and I think people on the committee have probably heard me say this before, but what struck me about it was that much of that desire was not, hey, there are some people out there, we can bring them in here, we can grow the church membership. It was more of a desire that was, that's what we should be doing, as Christians, as followers. We need to be out in the community, connecting more with people, helping them, and ministering to them. So that's kind of the frame here. So the first objective is we wanted to raise awareness of St. Bart's, the resources and support that are here on campus, our facilities, what we have to offer people, not only members, but anybody from the community, our formation classes and all of our great formation work for adults and children, our worship services and the service opportunities, and again, do this across a spectrum of ages. So what's one action you can take to promote St. Bart's in the community? Well, you have a St. Bart's in the Community Day. And this would be a day where we would have several of them throughout the year that would coincide with either religious holidays, secular holidays. We do some of this already, as we've mentioned. So we do the Ashes to Go. There's the Blessing of the Pets that we could kind of make mobile and go out there. There was some Christmas caroling this past Christmas. We can expand and do more of that. We have Memorial Day, Veterans Day kinds of things here. We could maybe expand that. The idea is to use what we do here and project that out into the neighborhood more. Next slide, please. The objective here is to increase the number of members of the community who participate in parish events and programs. We're seeing that a little bit or a lot with the music offerings and the music programs from John Luke and the music ministry. But we want to increase that, we want to get more people on campus because we think, and I think we can all agree, once people come here, they like what they see and they like to come back. We just want to grow and accelerate that process of getting more people here to kind of see the good work that goes on here, right? So this is kind of a communications challenge in some way, right? We want to promote parish events and programs to the community. There's all kinds of ways to communicate now through your phone, door-to-door, email, old-fashioned telephone calls, things like that. Do that in a targeted way. You can really target who you're speaking to with digital promotional channels. You can target an age, a neighborhood, a location, anything like that. And then, again, follow up with these people with our Welcome and Connect program to get them here. Next slide, please. And this is a piece we want to continue to support, enhance, and assess the relationships we have with partner organizations. This is the outreach work that the Outreach Committee and the Outreach Ministries do, and do incredibly well. We need to support that work more. We need more people involved in outreach, quite frankly. And if you haven't done it, there'll be sign-up opportunities. Operators are standing by to take your good work. And I will say I haven't done as much as I like as I should, but when you do it, it is a deeply fulfilling and a really wonderful thing to do. And if we get more people doing it, we do more outreach. That's good for everybody. The other thing that we want to do here in this action is to educate ourselves and others about the organizations that we support and that we partner with and who are part of our outreach work. I don't know all of the groups that the outreach committee works with and that we deal with. I know some of them, but not all of them. When you look at it, it is a pretty amazing spectrum of need and of service that we can do. So we need to promote that more internally so we can get more people involved. And now Judy is going to tell us what happens next.
So I know this is the part everybody's been waiting for. So we've done the work, started talking about the strategic plan. What happens next? The clergy, staff, the new vestry, and volunteer leaders are developing a rollout plan for the updated strategic plan. That includes, and this was something that came up so strongly, is identifying new leadership for our work teams. And so lots of people are going to be being invited. And so if you've been thinking, oh, I don't need to step up, so-and-so always steps up, they always do it, we need more people to do that. Also, inviting all St. Bart's members to engage in the work groups. There's a lot of actions, there's a lot of different topics, so there really is something for everybody. All are welcome and all are needed. And then we still need to expand the strategic plan with some of the following additions. There need to be timelines. We have to hold ourselves accountable for getting things done, so we have to prioritize what needs to come first, what comes after that. Who's responsible for the work? Who'll get the work done? And what does success look like so we can measure our success, right? Did we do the right action? Did it have the anticipated result, or do we need to try something else? So there are clipboards today if you've already seen something that really calls to you, so you can sign up. And we'll have those out in the coming weeks. So we really invite you to sign up. The complete strategic plan with all the actions listed will come out this week in the weekly news, and it's posted on the homepage of the website. And we're probably going to put it a couple of other places as well. There are a couple, or there are more than a couple, a few small number of complete strategic plans that are printed out that can be picked up today. Please only do that if you don't receive an email from us, so that some people just aren't able to do that. So just in closing, we are all the church, and God is calling each one of us by name, and we all need to join together to ensure St. Bart's will always be a place of love and welcoming to all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judy and Greg. There's a lot going on there, a lot to unpack, and we're all involved in doing the unpacking. So, all right, next up is, oh, it's me, okay. Who knew? Okay, preschool update and the senior warden report. Kind of want to roll them together so we can move on. So I'll start off with the senior report and then the senior warden report, and I'll bring in the preschool in on that. The full senior report is in the printed annual report. I'm not going to go through all of it. There is one item that I wanted to mention, though, is the previous vestry, the previous senior warden. Now that I've been at this for a year, I really, really, really appreciate what Custa Dillon did for 4 years through COVID. So do read that portion of it in my senior warden report. It's I'm deeply appreciative, and this includes the prior vestries and senior wardens. Okay, we talked about the ASA. That's the average Sunday attendance, and the ASA comes from the annual parish report that gets submitted to the diocese. And it's technically due by March 1st every year, but last year we got it postponed to April 1st. But anyway, so we don't have the report ready yet for 2024. So what we're looking at was the report that was prepared last year, which looked at 2023. So the attendance for 2023 brought us up to where we now have 4 delegates to go to the annual diocesan convention. And this is a big deal. This is where the church is represented by 4 delegates. At the convention is where the church, the diocese bylaws and canons and policies are discussed and voted on. So the more delegates we have, the bigger voice that St. Bart's has. It's a one-time event, lasts 2 days, and I'm very, very appreciative of our slate of candidates who will be attending that convention. Pledges, you heard about the pledge total, and actually I'm picky on details, so, okay. So the original 2024 budget was 820, and then we were falling a little bit short, so it came up to 782. So then the pledge goal for 2025 was $100,000 more, which became 882, and we hit over $900,000. So this is awesome. It says it can be done. And to take a phrase from Mother Nina's record report from last year, we all pulled on the same oar. We're in the big ship, and we all pulled on the same oar, and we got to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. There's no destination; it's a journey. Let's see, and working with the solar contractor, we had a little bit of an issue with the expanded solar system. That got straightened out, and it's working great. It's saving the church. Well, we did a calculation last month, and the church paid about $1,800 in SDG&E electric power, and if we hadn't had the solar system, we would have been charged $4,400. So that's a big deal. So the solar system is working great. The gala last year was tremendous. Record-setting revenue for outreach. I think it was over what, $90,000 or $100,000. It was huge. So Jim, yeah, okay, all right. Jim Grannetti has been or was leading that effort. I think he's trying to step back, but it'll happen or maybe not. We'll see. Okay. The new website was launched. Oh, and people are asking, well, where are the vestry minutes? How can I read the vestry minutes? They're on the website. They're a little buried, but they're there. There's a tab called Leadership, and then you hit that tab, and you scroll down the vestry. You hit vestry, and then bam, 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 bam. There's all the minutes for each month. So if you need help going to sleep, just go there. Okay. The strategic plan committee was formed this year, and they've done a remarkable job. Many hours of meetings to come up with a very comprehensive plan, and and again, that plan is a journey. There is a destination, but the destination keeps changing, so it's a journey. Okay. The preschool. Okay. For several years, the preschool has been running a deficit, and COVID really knocked the wind out of its sails. And it got to the point where the vestry couldn't approve the year's preschool budget, so which said we had to close the preschool. And that was really tough. About a month later, after it was somehow in the preschool community, and it's a pretty small circle, we got unsolicited offers from different organizations who wanted to look at what we had, and they approached Mother Nina, and Mother Nina did the initial filtering, and there was one organization that stood out, and then I went out and talked with the organization, and anyway, we have a lease with a preschool. Their name is Elm Park Preschool and Academy. Elm Park Preschool and Academy. They're located on Community Road. They're at that old church over there. It's the First Church of Christ, I think is what. The Community Church of Poway, and it's a young couple, and they operate a full-time preschool. Starts at 7:30 in the morning and goes to 5:30 at night. They do different programs. They have daycare as well, and it's and super nice people. And so, with approval of the diocese on the lease, we have a multiple year lease with them, which is going to significantly turn our finances around. So, and yeah. And they've been invited to participate in our Ministry and Partner Fair, which will be on February 16th. And so I hope you meet them, and I think it's great. Anyway, I'll stop right there. Okay. What else do we have here on my report? Sorry, guys. Page 2. Oh, yeah. We have a current, Jacob Roebling. He joined the clergy staff. Hey, Jacob. There he is. All right. All right. Mother Nina and he are like this. It's a package deal. When you're talking to one, you're talking with the other, because they're both on the same page. And Jacob brings tremendous energy, and I use the term, he's an old person in a young person's body. He has a lot of wisdom, a lot of history, and I dare you to go ahead and challenge his intellectual ability on the Bible and God's message. He's wonderful. We have several property repair and maintenance projects that were approved, and they're in process as you kind of wander around the campus, and those are ongoing. That's my senior warden's report. All right. All right. All right.
Okay, so as rector, I get to make some officer appointments. So number one, I've asked Jerry to continue as our senior warden. And he's accepted. Very good. Polly Enos Getz will continue as our chancellor. Yay. And we just couldn't completely let Bill Angus go. So he's continuing as our assistant treasurer for investments. And Terry McCune right here will be our assistant treasurer for operations. Now, officers to be elected by the vestry are Annalisa Parker for treasurer. Yay. The junior warden will be elected by the vestry at the next meeting. And we still have an opening for clerk, because Anne would like to step aside after many, many years. Right, Anne? Yes. Thank you. Okay. So before we announce who our new vestry members are, I know it's such a mystery, let's bring in the old ones so that we can thank you and say goodbye. So Dan, Parth, Brooke, Will, and Sophia, will you please come forward? So we all give you tremendous thanks for your service. I know that some of you have served more than one term, and you have definitely given your time and talent for this church, and we are very, very grateful. So we have a gift for each of you. You want to help me, Jerry? It's, again, not a big mystery what it is, but yes. There we go.
Thank you, Will.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. At this time, I'd also like to give thanks to our staff. You know, nobody is really a slacker at St. Bart's. We're all working, it seems like, all the time. And so we have a wonderful group that is working so well together as a team. And I would love for you all to applaud them as well. Okay, I would love for our new vestry class to come forward. So Rosalind, Lance, Sally, Patrick, and Alexander, would you please come forward? You can right up here. We give thanks to you for saying yes to God and yes to this church and being part of our governance structure going forward for the next 3 years, and in your case, Alexander, 1 year, and know how important you are to our future. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. And now you end the meeting.
I declare this annual meeting over. Adjourned.
But there's still a blessing, right? So may the Spirit of the Lord be upon us to do what God calls our church to be. And the blessing of God Almighty, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit be upon us. Amen. All right, so let's eat. Food is outside. We invite you to go out there, make a plate. You can come back in if you'd like. It looks like the rain might